Servus and hello, here's Bianca Killinger. Today we're talking about the oral English Matura exam in Austria. And thanks to my viewers Elizabeth and Sarah for making the suggestion to actually create an English version of my German video, which I did a couple of years ago. So it's basically a translation, although not exactly, so I would not miss the bonus points that are in here. Anyways, so we will mostly talk about the grading criteria, which is task achievement, fluency and interaction, lexical and structural range, and lexical and structural accuracy. And I will give you certain learning strategies which could help you to use the rules of the Matura to your own advantage. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. In case I have a few viewers who just stumbled upon the video without really knowing what the English Matura exam in Austria is about, I give you a very brief introduction. So usually the students get a sheet of paper with one topic, and so the first part of this sheet of paper has to do with a monologue. So they have to talk for 5 minutes on their own, and then they have a 10 minutes dialogue, and usually they do the dialogue with the English teacher, although there is also another version in which one student actually interacts with another student. Nonetheless, I'm not really sure how common this version really is right now. Usually it's the teacher. Anyways, so let's start out with the first criteria upon which you are graded, and this is task achievement. So, well, task achievement, of course, has to do with the task that you get. So, first thing you need to do is read the instructions really carefully so you know what you have to do. And then what is also important are the bullet points. And one of my viewers pointed out in the last video I did a couple of years ago in the German version that it might be really important to actually equally balance the time between the bullet points, because last time I said something like, well, better use the time and talk, but of course it's better to use the time equally between the bullet points that you want to address. Then it's also important that you don't read from your notes because that might be a little bit awkward, and where should I go on? And well, whatever. It might make you sound like a robot, so it might look way more natural if you try avoid looking on your notes. And also this might be the first thing that people might recognize, and not any kind of people. It's the people who are sitting in the jury, and the jury consists of several teachers from your school and normally also 2 other teachers. Not 2 other teachers, 2 principals. So one from your own school and another one from another school. Anyways, and for task achievement, what is important for all the criteria, but well, also for task achievement, is note taking. So you have some minutes time to actually take notes, and you also get a sheet of paper. However, you want to be careful, and you also want to structure your talk. So you could also use the bullet points that you get to already structure them. So number 1 is about this and that, and then you have certain examples that follow this and that bullet point. If it looks neat and you got only a few keywords all the time, that would be perfect. However, what happens if you start writing whole sentences and it gets really messy and you don't have enough time, which happened to me very often? My strategy is to just circle important words. And once you have a look again on your sheet of paper, that helps you to find the main points again. And you don't really need to read the whole sentence. You already might know what you want to talk about. Yeah, you might remember the gist again, okay? As a second criteria, we have fluency and interaction. And well, this is pretty difficult to train, I would say, because it might take a longer time to build that skill up. And honestly, I really believe that students who watch a lot of English movies in their free time have a huge advantage here, because they can speak more fluently, usually. However, it's never too late to start. And so when you're watching this video right now, there are tons of native speakers out there to whom you can listen. And you can also watch TED Talks, for example. It's one thing I would suggest, because they also have presenters, so you can also have a look at their body language as well, and you can have a look on how they structure the talk as well. So there are just quite a few things that you can learn. And also, anytime, no matter what you watch in English, you can always push a pause button and then try to imitate the people you just watched on TV, on Netflix, on any other kind of streaming media platform, whatever. Yeah. Or you can film yourself like I'm doing right now. And by the way, the first video which I filmed got into the trash can. I hated it, I didn't like it. But it's also a good learning strategy. It can be rather disappointing at the beginning, but you are improving once you do that. And the third criteria is lexical and structural range. And for this you can prepare almost like for a math exam, because you can create your own set of vocabulary here. Well, the thing with lexical and structural range is usually the more different words you use, the more different sentence structures you use, the higher your score is going to be in this area. But there are a few tricks which we can use. First one, we have high frequency words which we can replace by other words. So for instance, we have the verb get. So instead of get feedback, I could also say receive feedback. And things like that. Or get money, gain money. Or even the verb to be, although this might really depend on the context and how you want to replace it. And then you can also create another set of words which you can use for different kinds of topics. I would call them academic English words for level B2, like for instance, to support, or support even as a noun, to encourage, encouragement. It depends on the topic which you will pick, but oftentimes you're also asked to contribute to a solution, or you are asked about your own opinion. Oh, and by the way, you could also say, instead of I think, I could also say my opinion, in my point of view. So there are actually tons of different words which can be beneficial here. Then another trick which you can use is to use topic-specific vocabulary and words that are rather rare in use. Words which not everybody might understand. So for every topic you have on your list, let's say you pick 3 or 4 rare words, like one would be for any topic like economics, for a Hack, which is like a specific school type here in Austria. You could use the word tariff, Zoll. Yeah, tariff might be a word that not all of the people, not all of the teachers in the jury might understand. Well, which might leave the impression that you are pretty smart. At least if you know how to use it in context, or seemingly in context. Then there are also other words you can use, like transition words, to help you create a smooth structure. Like, well, for instance, you have bullet point 1, you say first of all, then secondly, thirdly. You could also switch from one idea to another to say moreover, furthermore. or you can contrast as opposed to. That also works. Then you have conjunctions. So for instance, regardless of, no matter how, whereas, while. It's also fine if in a 15 minutes talk if you use, I don't know, 2 of them, 3 of them, whatever. If you use any of those, that would be incredible. Or even if you use an if sentence structure correctly with the right grammar. Of course, you might score a few bonus points in this area. To sum this whole criteria, lexical and structural range up, I would say fewer is more, meaning fewer words, fewer structures can be more, because you need to keep in mind that you have to actively use it in a situation which might get you easily agitated. So at least I would get easily agitated, yeah, nervous. Then fourth criteria, lexical and structural accuracy. This is basically about not making any mistakes. Well, so the fewer mistakes you make, the better it's going to be for you. However, here again, there are a few things to watch out for. Watch out for the third person S. Then pay attention to pronunciation. If you're not really sure how to pronounce a word, which can happen if you just read the word and you have never listened to the pronunciation, make sure that you look the word up on an online dictionary and listen to the audio track. And finally, make sure that you know how to use a certain word in context. So for instance, if we have a German word, that might not exactly tell us how to use that in an English sentence. So I give you an example, the word in German Schatten. In English we have shade or shadow, and they're not both the same thing. So pay attention to these things and collocations. So know how to use your word with other words, basically. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments about your studying experience. See you soon. Bye.